I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. You remember Christina Bobb, right? The Trump lawyer who would go on TV every single day following the search warrant executed at Mar-A-Lago and just make these absurd lie after lie after lie. It was her and Alina Habba that'd go on TV. It was my understanding that there wasn't a search warrant served. It was my understanding that they wouldn't let anybody in the place. It was my understanding that the FBI planted information. It was my understanding, they would just lie, 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 lie. They were obviously caught lying in each and every turn. And Christina Bobb is also the lawyer who signed the declaration under penalty of perjury to the FBI, stating that all of the documents were returned to the Department of Justice in response to a grand jury subpoena. Of course, we know that Christina Bobb was lying and is currently being investigated criminally, we believe, for obstruction of justice, for lying to the FBI about conducting a diligent search and turning over the records when, in fact, on August 8th, the FBI and Department of Justice very readily located top-secret, sensitive, compartmented information, including potentially our nuclear secrets. Well, Christina Bobb, this is like the new one as a Trump lawyer's defenses to their own potential criminality and their own legal losses. And so, as Christina Bobb's legal strategy, this has been utterly probably the worst legal strategy ever. It's been utterly exposed. I mean, they drew Eileen Cannon, the corrupt Trump judge who temporarily issued that corrupt order appointing the special master and stopping the Department of Justice from using their top secret classified records. But the 11th Circuit stepped in and said to Judge Eileen Cannon, basically, you're really no better of a judge than Christina Bobb is a lawyer. If you wanted to break down the decision of 11th Circuit in one sentence, the 11th Circuit, of course, allowed the Department of Justice to continue to go through their own documents, their top secret classified records. And now Trump is stuck with a special master, Judge Dearie, who thinks Donald Trump is an absolute and utter idiot and criminal. He hasn't said that, but his order essentially implied it. And now Donald Trump has to submit an affidavit to Judge Dearie, the special master, regarding all the other documents under penalty of perjury if he's claiming that the FBI lied, as Donald Trump continues to claim publicly when he goes on his rally. So Donald Trump is basically stuck between a rock and a hard place before Judge Dearie, to say the least. But here's the thing. So now Christina Bobb's defense, or her whole new strategy, right after lying and being caught lying, is the following. I wasn't even Trump's lawyer. You think I'm joking? So now she's leaning in to the role that she had, I guess, before she was Trump lawyer, where she was a radical right extremist Trump cult groupie for OAN, who would follow Trump around at his rallies and interview people outside of the rallies. That was basically her job at OAN before joining Trump's legal team. And now she's joined a new network. The new network is RSBN. And their whole thing is that they follow Trump around at the rallies, and she does the pre-rally coverage. But at the most recent rally in Wilmington, North Carolina, she claims she wasn't even part of the search warrant legal team. That was a big misunderstanding. She was just a custodian of records. Here, play the clip of what she said.
You did a lot you were there at Mar-A-Lago,
right,
on the FBI raid. I know there's a lot of stuff that you can't say publicly, and there's
right,
stuff you have said publicly. But can you give it? You said a lot publicly. You've been on a lot of news outlets.
Yeah.
What is the latest with that? I mean, if people dropped out of that, cycle of news, what is the latest on that?
I mean, it's going through the courts, right? They've appointed a special master. They're going through the courts. The legal team is fighting that battle in court about who they got the special master appointed, and then whether they were allowed whether the Department of Justice was allowed to continue to review the classified documents while the appeal was going on. The 11th Circuit just ruled, I think it was today, that stay has been lifted, so the Department of Justice is now allowed to go through those documents. It may have been yesterday, but it's very recently. And so now they're in the court phase, the litigious phase of who's allowed to see what does it mean, was it all taken properly, was it not taken properly. That's gonna take some time to play out. So I mean, it's up to the legal team at this point. And I'll clarify a little bit. I think people were a little bit confused. I am on President Trump's legal team. I do work for him on election issues. I was never on the legal team handling this case, just to be clear on that, which is why, I came in as the custodian of records, because I wasn't on that team.
Right.
So I just want to clarify for people that thought I was doing both. I was not. I've never have been.
Right. So now during her side hustle, moonlighting as a reporter for the far-right network RSBN, Christina Bobb is now claiming she was actually never on Trump's legal team, never handling the Mar-A-Lago case. But there's like footage of her doing it. I mean, that's the most outrageous and ridiculous part about it here. Why don't we show the clip where she went on Fox and Laura Ingraham asked her about whether there was nuclear secrets that was being concealed and obstructed at Mar-A-Lago. Play that clip.
Okay, so Christina, just so I'm clear about this, I want to be really clear. Is it your understanding that there were not documents related to our nuclear capabilities or nuclear issues that had national security implications in the president's possession when the agents showed up at Mar-a-Lago?
That's correct. I don't believe they were, and if they thought
well,
they were...
do you know for a fact? Do you know for a fact they were? Have you spoken to the president about it?
I have not specifically spoken to the president about what nuclear materials may or may not have been in there. I do not believe there were any in there. The legal team had done a very thorough search and had turned over. We'd been very cooperative with the Biden administration and the DOJ and turned over everything that we found that we had. So it's my understanding on very good belief based on a thorough investigation that there was nothing there.
Oh, yeah. And we, of course, can't forget about the clip where Christina Bobb was literally in the courtroom for Donald Trump. Remember when she and Trump and everyone was saying, we want the affidavit release the affidavit, the FBI affidavit, setting forth all of the factual predicates that led to the probable cause determination by Judge Reinhardt, the magistrate judge. But then when they went into courtroom, they did not actually request the unsealing of the FBI affidavit. It was actually the press who did it. And so Laura Ingraham was asking Christina Bobb, you were in court today, so why didn't you actually ask the judge to unseal the affidavit if that's what you claim you wanted to happen? Here, play that clip.
You had parties from both sides of the aisle, of course, liberal media outlets coupled with a conservative watchdog group really together on the same side. And so we were curious to see how that played out, of course, reserving our rights to try something else in the future if we want to, but we really just chose to see how it would play out.
Well, I understand that you chose to do that, but I'm wondering, are you not concerned that because you didn't join any of these motions for, again, the full release of this affidavit, that you're then waiving possible objections to the way redactions are being done by the Justice Department later on? Because you didn't speak in court today, nor did you join any of these motions. They're going to redact all this stuff, and I'm not sure what grounds you're going to have at this point, having waived your right to file those motions.
Well, we would maintain that we haven't waived our right and that still is maintained. We need to wait and see. I can't be certain at this point because we haven't seen the affidavit and we certainly haven't seen the redactions and how it's going to play out. But, we'll be making that decision as it comes out. We got to see it. We haven't seen it. It has been under seal. So I don't know. We can't say.
Just weird, dangerous behavior right there. I mean, as a lawyer, the fact that Christina Bobb and lawyers like that exist out there is incredibly, incredibly frightening. The fact that she passed the bar exam, the fact that she's out there using her legal license to do whatever the hell that is. But I go back to this video that Politics Girl did. You remember this video that Politics Girl did? I'm not going to play it here. You go back and you can watch it on Twitter or search for it on other social media. But Politics Girl's basic premise was, let's assume for the sake of argument that Trump's this great billionaire who everyone's against him, but he's a righteous guy. She goes, where are the good lawyers? Where are any big defense lawyers who would make a career for themselves representing Trump. That's all you need to know to realize that Trump's full of shit, is where are the lawyers? Instead, you get Christina Bobb. And I guess the best Trump's been able to get is a foreign agent for the authoritarian Maduro regime, Christopher Keiss, as his lawyer. And Trump used $3 million from the Save America organization that he runs, which he created after he got destroyed in the November election, embarrassingly defeated by Joe Biden in almost record numbers of a defeat. But that organization, the Save America PAC organization, is under criminal investigation, or is part of the Department of Justice's criminal investigation. We know that from the subpoenas that have been sent out recently by the Department of Justice. That organization paid the Maduro foreign agent, Christopher Keiss, $3 million to represent Trump. So then Trump would then go to the 11th Circuit, lose, then go in front of Judge Dearie, get called out by the special master, Judge Dearie, and now Trump, by September 30th, has to submit affidavits under penalty of perjury attesting to all the other government records that he stole about what his position is and why he owns them. Each and every one, he's got to make like a under oath declaration to thousands and thousands and thousands of records. And one of my favorite parts about Judge Dearie's order, Judge Dearie also appointed an assistant, a retired judge, Magistrate Judge Orenstein, to help him out. And he's billing Trump $500 an hour for the assistant to help the review. So Trump's got to pay $500 an hour. And then Judge Dearie put in his order, if you fail to pay on time, you're going to be sanctioned, knowing that Trump doesn't pay his bills. It's so good. But this whole Christina Bobb thing is so bizarre. But wanted to bring you the full context that Trump's lawyers are now claiming they are not his lawyers and never were his lawyers, because all of this MAGA grift, all of these people are freaking losers at the end of the day. MAGA is a movement of freaking losers and weirdos and wannabe fascists, the most anti-American, despicable people out there. They really are. And this just goes to show you the type of caliber people we are dealing with. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Until next time, hey, make sure you hit the subscribe button right now. Hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 1 million subs. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon account at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. I always get asked, how can we support independent media? We're not funded by any millionaires or billionaires. In fact, we have zero outside investors, zero. We're fueled by democracy and powered by you. So if you want to get involved to help grow this independent media channel, go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. There's a number of exclusive benefits there. But in addition, it just helps grow the network. I'm Ben Meiselas. Until next time.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.